Hi guys, I thought I'd tackle the infamous heater today. So, you get to your car and the heater blower has stopped working. It's an absolute nightmare. This car has been to 2 garages. They've both told me that the dashboard needs to come out to get to the heater blower to change it. So I thought, do you know what, we'll have a quick look at it and see what we can do. And see if there's any way that we basically can get around this, as it seems to be a pretty common problem on the Giulietta. So this is a step-by-step guide on how to remove it and change it. It won't take long, funny enough. I was quoted 11 hours at one garage, and the other garage even told me that the doors had to come off to get the dashboard out to get to it. So basically the issue is obviously the car was designed as a left-hand drive. And in Alfa Romeo's infinite wisdom, they didn't swap over the heater blower to the passenger side when they changed it to right-hand drive. So what you've got is a blower tucked up right behind the steering rack and the pedal box. So it is a bit of a nightmare. You have to excuse the state of my car. This is the one we use for carting our kids around and stuff. Let's get on with it. So basically, where have I started? Right, first off, I bought a whole nother unit. So basically I could see exactly what was going on. So here's the blower itself, and this is the faulty part. This little bolt here is the one that's going to cause you the most headache. So basically I'm trying to describe where this actually is, but this is tucked right up underneath the dashboard. It's an absolute nightmare to get to, but we'll get to that shortly. Here's the resistor pack that connects to the blower itself. To disconnect them, dead straightforward and simple, all on a simple wiring loom. But as I say, we'll come back to this unit. For those of you who have done a service yourself, this is your pollen filter housing with a little thing that just flicks off, and there it is under there. Oh, so much easier when it's out of the car. So where to start? So first off, here is my car currently. I have removed the steering wheel. So it's not actually as bad as it sounds. It took a little minute to kind of figure out exactly what was going on here. But we'll just simply run through it. So that's where I started. So basically the rack itself is held on simply by 5 bolts. So what you've got is 2 of these, which are 13 mils, a pinch bolt at the bottom, which is a Torx head, and the size of that one is E12, so that's what you need to take that off. So pretty straightforward and simple. And then you have the wiring itself. The whole unit comes out and looks like this. So here it is. So really simple. So basically, let's start with the pinch bolt. So down at the bottom here, this is where the pinch bolt goes through as it connects to the car. This actually slides in and out. Sorry, try and hold the camera steady. So basically you take that out, and then this can simply slide in and out. Obviously make sure your steering is straight before you take it out. And then the 4 bolts, simply you've got the 2 bolts go in here and the 2 nuts go in here. It's relatively straightforward and simple. The one that will cause you the hassle is one of the nuts on the left hand side. Basically the reason it causes you hassle is because you can't really get to it. So the way I've done it is through the back here, and I have used an extension bar, and then I used the wibbly thing before I put the 13 mil on. That got to that one really simply. Now these bolts just literally spin off, so really cool, and off they come. So your pinch bolt is undone. That's where it connects down here, so it sits on here. So you slide that off, undo the 2 bolts here, and then the 2, sorry, I keep saying bolts, I mean nuts. So slide off the 2 nuts here, and then the 2 bolts then hold on the front of it, and then you have the wiring to unclip. Now obviously with the wiring, we are going to be, this one here is your airbag one. So obviously disconnect your battery before you start this job. Now unfortunately this car has several of the Giulietta known problems, most of which I've cured. One of which I haven't is the bonnet catch. So I've bought a new bonnet catch wire, haven't fitted it yet. It's now C-solid. I've tried to undo the bonnet, wouldn't happen. So I've taken extra care because my battery is still live. So just be careful of that. So these all simply unplug, really nice and simple, and this whole unit can then just, it slides out of here. This hole here is where it goes through, simply slides out, and then that gives you the maximum amount of space under here. I will just grab my light in a second, but you can't even see where the blower goes at this stage. It's kind of up here. You see the big hole because I've taken mine out already. Okay, so the wiring, the next job is then the clutch pedal. So just here, whoop, there's my finger. You've got this probe that sticks out of the clutch, so when the clutch goes up and down, it's actually got a switch that's connected to that, and then, oops, sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera still, and then the wiring loom that plugs into it. So let's just have a quick look at that now. So here it is. This is the switch itself. Now this has got a really cool design. So it sits like this as we look at it. Okay, so that little probe goes through this gap here, and then what it does is just simply moves backwards and forwards when you depress the clutch. The wiring loom plugs in the front, and you can see it just simply unclips. But to get it off itself, it's actually got this really cool design on the top. So what you've got is this thing here. So let me just lift this up. So I'm trying to do this one-handed. So from when it's in position, you lift this up like so, and then you pop this out like so. And then what you've got is then this little bit, which is the bit it plugs onto, then just simply pulls away, and you can take it out. And then the last thing that we're going to do under here is obviously, as I'll show you on the other system, is we need to unplug the resistor pack and unplug the fan itself. Now what I've done is I've taken off the pollen filter cover to give me the most space possible, and then behind here, I'll grab a light in a sec so you can see, this is where the resistor pack goes. I've taken that out too, to give me the most amount of space possible to remove this epoxy item out of the smallest gap you've ever seen in the world. So let's just have a quick look at the resistor pack that I've taken out. So here it is. Now as we know, I've already got a spare, but basically these just simply unclip, move to the side, pop out, and they look like this. So I'm going to change mine anyway. And then the fan itself, well, we'll get to that in a second. And this is the pollen filter door again. So here we are on the external unit again. So to unclip the wiring on the blower, 2 clips to the side, push in and pop it out. Okay, really simple. And then again, under here, you've got this clip on here, you push that in, then that unclips and you can take it out. Just at the top here, you then have the clip for the resistor pack, so push that up. I'm trying to remember which way it slides. Oh, sorry, I'm saying push it up, I mean push it down and then slide and then out. Okay, so, and then that gives you the most amount of space to take out this heater blower and to swap it. Right, okay, so let me grab the light. Where does it live? So here's the clutch pedal. There's the end of the steering rack. And up here, you can now see the hole for the resistor pack, and then you can see the hole for the blower. And then you can see all the scratching to the side where I've taken mine out, because it is quite tight, but I have worked out how to do it to cause you the least amount of pain as possible. So, what to do? Right, the first thing you need to do is take these screws out of the blower motor. Okay, there's 3 of them. and then by taking these out, what that gives you is then the blower itself in two separate halves. So here's the blower I've taken out. Here's where those screws go, like here. So you've got 1, 2 and 3. And then what you can do, and I'm going to squidge this between my knees so I can show you. There we go. So what you need to do is then with your finger prise it in the gap and then turn it and then prise again and it'll come off. Okay. And then what we have is then the motor connected to a wire which is held in by a clip. Now you can unclip that. I took mine out connected. So basically with this off, you can now slide this out in between the blower box and the clutch pedal. I had to depress my clutch all the way to the floor, so I'm trying to hold that down with my right hand. I'm left-handed, so I had to try and hold that down with my right hand while I slid that out. One bit I have forgotten is actually these bits here. When you take the most annoying bolt in the world out, now this is a 6mm bolt in here, this slides and then comes out. Okay, so that's when you first take it out. Sorry, I forgot that part. So round again, so this part here can then come off, and then you have the motor itself. Now the motor sits in like this and you're taking it out this way. The idea is to turn it and pull it down with the clutch pedal depressed. That is your best route to get this thing out. And then in reverse with your new motor, obviously you need to be really careful, but you need to try and push these bits in a bit like this, give this a bit of a squeeze and chuck it back in and then pop it in. Now what I will be doing is when I prepare my new motor, I'll be marking up on here somewhere so which one this aligns to, so it goes in exactly the right position. So I don't want to be messing that around, and there's not much space under there. Let's say it's really at a premium, so you want to be as careful as you can. What else do I need to tell you? I think that's kind of it. I think I've covered most things in that. To get the new motor back in is simply a case of in reverse, clutch pedal to the floor, split the motor in half, push this back in, so wiggle it through the little gap and then put it in position, put this on, then get the 3 bolts. So here's what they look like so, and whack this back on. So put all this back together, resistor pack in, pollen filter cover back on, wiring back on, and then all back together in reverse. Now you may think that this looks like a daunting task, but let me tell you, I'd rather be doing this than spending, you know, £1,000 at a garage for them to take my dashboard out to replace this. I've bought all my used parts, so again, this whole entire unit, I bought it off eBay. I paid £40 for it. It was delivered the next day. I would rather attempt something like this than necessarily giving it to a garage to do. But it may be a case where you just want to, you know, take it to a garage and forget about it. You know, that's absolutely fine too. Yeah, if there's anything, if I've missed anything, then put a comment on the video and I'll try to answer the questions as and when they come up. And I wish you all the best of luck with it. But I hope this is an end now to the blower issue on the Giuliettas. It's not that bad. Couple of hours max, cup of tea in between sometime. And you'll be able to do it yourselves. All right. Okay, good luck. Speak to you later.